Many of us have had this experience of waking in the morning with this feeling of abject emotional pain or emptiness inside. Certainly in all of my years of spiritual practice, I can relate. It's like you come from the dreamy state, you open your eyes, and you face the world, and you feel nauseous. You know somewhere in your mind that practice will probably help, but it feels something so far into the distance, so inaccessible, and at the same time, just staying still also feels unbearable, and there's this sense of being frozen. So I want to speak from my own lived experience on how to work with these moments, because they happen to us in life, most of us as human beings. So first of all, a shift in perspective is really important from I hate this feeling, or this is overwhelming and I must distract, to what is this feeling, right? We know that actually shifts what's happening in the brain. So it might be like, oh, I cannot bear what I'm feeling, and all the thoughts associated with it, if there are, to, wow, where do I really feel this unbearable feeling? And often when it is this deep dread, it's in the throat, and it's in the solar plexus region. It can be other places as well, so you can check that out for yourself and just spend a moment and try and be interested. Because often what seems completely unbearable is a series of sensations that, when looked at under a microscope, become, often less bearable. And then sometimes there's like this pulse almost happening within the system that you can sense into as well, that feels more pervasive. It's what we would call in Buddhism and in yoga the pain body. So you can sense into that as well. And then maybe there's only so long you can bear that, and that's okay. And the next step is to think, what can I do now? And what I usually recommend and have done for myself is think, okay, I've got this nerve, the vagus, and when I activate it, it sends all of these inputs to my brain that change perception and that change my interoceptive or body-based experience. So can I rely on that a little bit? And one of the easiest ways to do that is to elongate the exhalation, right? That activates the vagus, and then that will in turn send messages back from the body up to the brain, shifting the input. And because it can be so painful to just be with the breath as you're sensing into those sensations, I recommend that you actually imagine this vagus working. That as you exhale, even if you don't know exactly what it looks like, you have a visual image in your mind, and you're imagining that it's sending inputs down as you exhale, and that as you inhale, it's sending inputs back to your brain. And you just keep doing this. Now, it may be that you have a complete change in your overall experience quickly, or it might just be that you have a little bit more energy to do the next thing, right? And if you're wondering what to do as opposed to knowing, hand movements are a place to go, because the fingers activate a lot of the brain with simple movements. And then you can use them even in conjunction with the Ujjayi breath, going inhale, exhale long. Inhale. Exhale long. And if you have time, you might repeat the whole thing. Because the thing is, all of us in life would like never to have that experience, that sheer emptiness and dread. But it is part of the human spectrum of emotion and feeling. And if you can familiarize yourself with it and be present with it and be less afraid of it, it empowers you to know that you can face the ups and downs of life that will happen, and builds resiliency just based upon that embodied insight. Please share this with other people that are struggling, and be sensitive to how much they're going through, understanding that there are some simple techniques that can get somebody from below 50 to maybe below 45 to below 40, so on and so forth, till they can start again at 0 and start building. Namaste.